Do here, it's very simple, it's not complicated. We are going to listen to Miss Paddy. Uh, she was she was in the podcast which is called The Big Seat. I think I saw the podcast, in the past, but and then I watched some few things there. And then, when I saw her speak, and then I took time to listen to her, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just react to this because she was talking about some very uh, interesting things. Okay, and I'm saying interesting because you remember that I made a video in the past talking about her when she was fighting against when she was fighting against Mr. Zuma, because strictly it was Mr. Zuma. Okay, now I'm saying that because she also said on the podcast now, and then I said to the people that actually I don't see why she would waste her money, waste her time to fight against Zuma, to fight against MK. At the time, obviously, I was under the impression that in most cases, when you fight against Mr. Zuma, it seems like people they don't win. I'm not saying always, but it seems like they don't. But well, he does lose sometimes, Mr. Zuma. In some cases, in the case of, yeah, is there a case where he lost? Nah, I don't. Yeah, okay. I think. Oh yeah, I believe there was a case. Hey guys, Mr. Zuma has been in the public domain, especially in court, for a long time, for many different cases. Now you don't know which one he won, which one he lost, and everything. But at the end of the day, guys, every time you go to court with Mr. Zuma, it seems like I don't know why people they see a need to take him to court, and I'm not saying people shouldn't, they should. Hey, guys, it's tiring, eh? I actually believe that that is why some people are in politics, some people are not in politics, you know? And those who are not in politics, you will hear them say, hey, but it's tiring, this thing of you always fighting against this. But they don't get tired. It means it's in their DNA for them to be actually in politics. In everything that you do, guys, it could be whatever career you go for. You know, in as much as you will be tired, but you will also still feel like you want to do it more. Okay? Then if you feel like that, you must know that it seems like you are in a path where you wanted to be or where you should actually be. Okay? Now, let me not waste your time, guys. We are just going to listen to her. A very interesting conversation. I liked it because she was free and, she was talking her mind and everything like that. Let's dive in and I hope you enjoy. While you are doing that, guys, with me, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. That will be appreciated, okay? I think this is the first time I'm doing this part or this type of content, which is to react to a video live, okay? I hope everything goes well. The one thing, guys, that I don't like going live for, it is the fact that in most cases the network gives me problems. That is why sometimes I don't go live. I try sometimes, but you could tell that it's difficult. There are some glitches there and there. But it doesn't mean one should not go live. Okay, anyway, let's get into the video. Let's listen to what she says.
Commander Tough is the one that it says ukuthi angina kambe yini lento le force number
awuna force number
akakwazi ukugula umfazi. I was not given an opportunity to meet President Jacob Zuma. When I requested a meeting to meet with him, I drove from here and I went to KZN. And I did not know that I've booked in the same hotel where he was. He does not know that story until today. I knew that he's just a flow up.
So who denied you?
He is not the only person that has opened a case against.
How many people have opened cases against you then?
There is 3 cases. 1 was coming from him, and 2 was coming from comrades that I wouldn't want to mention here. And the reason for that, it is because of the security reasons for them.
Okay.
Because when the province know that, they will look at them different. There was a time where they even screenshot my profile picture and wrote there that I gave someone 10,000. So that I don't remember that 10,000 for that person to kill someone or 10,000 for. So Dave, I've been inside when you ask propaganda.
Sure.
I feel like in South Africa, Mpumalanga province, I'm the only woman who's been attacked the way I've been attacked.
Well, it on this episode, and it's none other than the heavyweight herself. Yeah, you heard me right. I said herself, Mameri. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation and welcome to the big city.
Yeah, thank you very much. This seat is big indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel I can bring in more people to support me on the side. Sitting on the big seat, it's not a child's play.
Yes. I need both of you as conveners to sit here.
No. You need the correct convener to sit on the big seat.
Are you the correct convener?
Yep. The appointed one.
Okay, the one with the letter.
The one with the letter.
Yeah. So let's talk to Umfazi Phepha. Officially appointed by the Umkhonto weSizwe political party. But before we get there, I want to start where your name is big within the trucking industry. Yaziwa, you led a march of trucks to Pretoria. The then Deputy President Titi Mabuza was there. He asked you in Pretoria, why listen to Sekaya, why here? I mean, your reputation precedes you within the freight industry. Why politics? And also, why Umkhonto weSizwe? People know you as a founder of the ANC. You've not donated once, but many times in the ANC. What led you to say, but I want to be an active player in politics?
It is the issue of thinking about, and remember, as the country, we had an Umkhonto weSizwe. I fell into it with the love of the leadership of President Jacob Zuma.
Sure.
The reason why I came in because I wanted to understand what is delaying the government from implementing policies.
Sure.
Maybe you can say business people, either or politics touches them. You know your Trump.
Yeah.
I had so politics attracts us from outside because we get to be frustrated and we're stuck with politics.
Now you get to be frustrated as business individuals.
As business sector.
Sure.
And I wanted to understand what is the delay in these policies. And when I got here, I realized that there's nothing that is happening. It's just a question of we are here to talk about the budget.
Yeah.
Agree. I'm like, look at the president and say, agree. And I'm saying to myself, this country needs to change.
Yeah.
We don't have to sing a song the way we are singing a song. It's like we are kids. Just agree. No.
Look, it's easy for you to say that because obviously you're an outside player coming in. I've witnessed the caucus of the MK party. My critics to you are the official opposition party as the MK party, but I've not seen any vibrance. I've not seen you challenging. Yes, you've raised issues in the legislature, but I've not seen, an official opposition party. For a new political party to come into the legislature, for instance, 9 seats. To date, I've not heard any particular issue championed by the MK. We've seen, the cohort of leaders you lead with in the legislature. In answering that particular question of things just was, stand still, things were just moving at a slow pace. What have you done?
Despite the fact that we came in with full teeth.
Yeah.
We look old. But yet, the name is Siak.
Okay.
You cannot compare us with 100 and years. 10 years. DA is beyond the 200 years.
Sure. Things that were not addressed. And among those things is obviously free education. Obviously now he talks about the land. It's sacrosanct into his approach into politics now. Were you jumping into the MK party? Were you okay with that? Not MK party, ANC, or just MK party?
Musa, I wish we could have won and consolidate the blacks. I wish we could have two political parties. It's either DA or us. So it is indeed my wish to say, if this country can be led by one, instead of more than 100 and something. So indeed, the song that we were singing was 2/3. I was really disappointed that but then obviously Musa, we have won. Remember, TV went off and on again. The 2/3 is here.
But here in the provincial rock, the results operation center, the TV never went off and on.
It went off for everyone. When it went black, it went black for the whole country.
I see.
So behind the scenes, we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And we have won. So we are sitting here, both of us, and saying, "Guti, Eyamabhunu did it again." But how I wish we could be one.
I see. And it's a very important point you're raising. But what happened to you working with the EFF in terms of them appraising you with the decorum and all the nuances of the legislature? Because I've since seen that particular relationship is neither here nor there now. Because when you first came, there was somewhat of a communal approach. The EFF would champion certain other things that you have raised, and you would champion other things that they've raised. Now this is in the context of Mpumalanga. But seemingly of late, you are divided. Is that a result of what's happening nationally? Is then cascading down to the province?
Obvious. Remember that the relationship with MK and EFF was broken at a time when some of the leaders of the EFF joined MK.
Sure.
And Comrade Malema felt that they are leaving. We don't know what had happened there. We are not in that space. But after that, we could not do caucus together. We used to talk to each other. We used to agree when we go and present something in the legislature.
Sure.
But now that relationship is fading. But at least in Mpumalanga, we are still tagged, despite the fact we don't have core meetings with them.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that at some stage we will find each other. But the bottom line is the 2/3.
I see. 2/3 majority. But I'm more interested in how you ascended into the MK party. I remember, at the bubbling stage, MK party was making inroads. Yes, President Zuma is coming to Mpumalanga, is coming to Mkondo local municipality. Ubaba Andres Kamete was at the forefront of that. The IEC releases the list of who's going to the legislature. His name was nowhere. I call him and I ask him, Domtala, why is your name not there? I see Umameri Padi #1 of those who are going to the legislature in Mpumalanga. I think you were #7, if I'm not mistaken, to those who are going national. Why did you not go national and opted Mpumalanga? Was it in your decision?
Yeah, it was my decision. But the province was started by us.
Sure.
Myself, Comrade Denin Tlapo, General Tafumduli, and Commanders come in.
Sure.
Comrade Paul was there at the picture, but he didn't have enough. And Comrade Andres came late. He came late.
Okay.
But they started.
What do you mean started? Because we were introduced to Andres Kamete before we were introduced to Mary Party.
No, we were introduced to Prokoza.
Yes.
By Comrade Jablani Komalu.
I remember. Okay,
in KZA.
Sure.
And he then gave a marching orders that he must work with us because we were already on the ground.
Okay.
Everybody that was coming in was coming to me.
Sure.
And then 4-5 days later, we used to General Taf.
Okay.
And they were told to me. So everybody was coming. So when we were doing a list, we then communicated with them to say we are doing a list. And General Taff was part of that. And other comrades within us thought maybe it was not a reality. Hence, there was a mistake of choosing one region.
Yeah.
So the truth of the matter is that they missed an opportunity. Sometimes it does happen that you miss an opportunity to be there at the right time, at the right place.
Was that opportunity missed when the 9 people who are subsequently now sent into the legislature do not consist of those who come from Khartsiband?
What happened is that when we submitted a list without mixing names. We submitted a list of 1 to 50.
Yeah.
We submitted a list of 1 to 15 because I think there were 3. We were loading about 3 of them.
Sure.
And then the National Assembly list. I think I was number 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you were very high up in the national list.
Yeah. So we just read the list as is without really realizing that when appointments came, they're going to take as per list.
Sure.
When we were trying to resolve it, it was already late. But the decision of me not going to national,
Yeah.
I looked at the ground forces. I recall that they called me to say, are you still coming to national? I said, no. They said, no, you can't be in the province, you must come to national. I said, I'm not coming to national. Who has put me there? It is the ground forces.
Yeah.
I walked, remember what Musa, by the way, I came in thinking to check my police.
I remember.
Yeah, politics angifake again ngazibona sengizwela labantu laba that have voted.
Yeah.
So those that have voted for us, I felt good if I go to national.
Sure.
I would have failed them because I could see the love and the support that they have for me. And guess what? I don't regret that decision sitting here.
You don't?
No, which means I've got a way of taking good decisions in my life. And this was spot on.
Let's talk about decisions because I want to bring in your personal life, mixing it with politics as we try and navigate this conversation. Allow me, if I may. Was it your dad or mom who was at the hospital? Ill. And lo and behold, you needed a shoulder to cry on. And you called Lina Malachi. Lina Malachi, she's been your anchor.
A friend, personal friend.
Sure. And sitting here, you are in the MK party, she was in the ANC. When we talk about those decisions, do you think she would have been proud?
If Lina Malachi, I gave a name of Mkondo. I used to call him Mkondo, of which that's how Ubab Mashilo, Speedy Mashilo knows us.
Sure.
Mina bengithi kuye Mkondo, yena bekathi kimi Mhawu.
Okay.
Only to find out Mkondo is going to be born. If she was alive,
yeah,
I wouldn't be here.
In the MK party?
No.
You wouldn't be, like I want to put that into context. You wouldn't be in the MK party or you wouldn't be here?
I wouldn't be in the MK party.
Okay.
The reason for that is because my commitment to assist the ANC, we made an agreement that if we lose a soldier, I will bury that person. If we lose a comrade, I'll bury that person. So she was the only person that would come to my house and say, bring a placard, and would go to the shop.
Sure.
And she was shining because of the relationship that we had at removal. They will still consult and talk to me. I'm not saying the ANC was consulting me, but they will talk to me to say, there's this decision that we want to take.
Now this is the region.
Yeah, like in they will make calls.
I don't.
No,
I don't.
Business has influence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Business has influence. No, business has influence. There's no political party that is not influenced by business.
There's no political party that is not influenced by business, which is true. I think that is a true statement. That is why I would say that there is no way that you can create a political party and you are not influenced by business. And the reason why you get influenced by business is because of the money part, okay? Now, the money part comes in, obviously, if the business has money, you are a political party, and maybe let's say you are a political party that is a bit known, in most cases, you get influenced by business because they will support you, they will donate, and also you yourself, you will also actually do the same, which is you will do some gala dinners, just like other parties they will do. Gala dinner. Who is sponsoring it? Obviously, it's going to be business. Okay? That is why then you call the business people to come into your gala so that they can donate. Alright? Simple as that. Whether you like it or not, people they can behave and pretend as if like, we are not influenced by business, we are not influenced by people with money, we're doing things on our own, blah 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 blah. It doesn't happen, guys. Okay? When you start a political party, what you need to know is that you will be influenced one way or another by the business. You just have to accept it. That's why there was a time when the coalition, not coalition, the GNUE thing started, there were people who came in on YouTube, I think also on the political party, I think also one of the one of the oppositions, or all of the oppositions, they were saying that the some of the parties that are in the GNU, they were sponsored by some people who wanted to bring them together so that they can chase away or take away the other parties that they don't want. And some people, they said it was business, it was people of influence that gave them money. There's another party that they actually mentioned. They said, I don't know, it got how much, you know? That's how it is, guys. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to defend, whether you want to pretend as if you are innocent, all political parties, they get influenced by what? By business. It doesn't matter if it's a small business, it doesn't matter if it's a big business, it doesn't matter if it's somebody who's known. That's why some of the sponsors, some of the donors are actually kept in the background. They don't want to be mentioned. Even political parties, they don't mention them because that's how it is. Simple as that. There was a time when people were talking when Mr. Ramaphosa won the elections in the ANC conference. Some people, I'm not saying all of them, and I'm not saying people that we know said it, but we all know that people were saying that the reason why he won, it was because of money, it was because of the campaign, that because of money, you know? It's just like that, guys. And unfortunately, whether you like it or not, things are like that. Even if you can criticize it, even if you can fight it, it is just like that. Okay? It's politics. Anyway, what can we say? It's part of life, right?
Shoguti, I don't get to be affected.
Around the same time, Lina Malachi was executive mayor of Malahlen. You know, dominant in the Ehlanzeni. Who was calling you?
It was politicians, you know, comrades.
From the ANC?
Yeah, comrades from the ANC. They would say to me, I would say that I would talk to her, and I would talk to her and say, they are removing you from the district, going to the sub-region, local municipality, by the way. And then when she would hear that, she would say to me, yo, Mahau, I hope what you are saying is not true. And I would say it is true, because you have fixed my life. And he said, but I was fired before. Forget about that. That they terminated, or I don't recall what they done ANC at the time.
Well, they shifted her from one post.
No, I'm keeper for 5 years. Why losing membership for 5 years?
Oh yeah.
That has always been something that was hating her.
Sure.
And I said, go to Malahlen, and she said to me, Mahau, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm going to help you. And that journey, we were and we're saying she was in an accident.
Yeah.
I kept on telling her that it is getting dangerous. They're going to kill you. And she said, no. I said, it is getting dangerous. They're going to kill you. The reason why I was saying that is because I could see her dedication.
Sure.
And her willingness to uproot the corruption in the Malahlen. And I kept on saying, you know, please tread carefully, because, you know, it looks like things are changing. And somehow, every time when there is that party,
sure,
or that celebration of the 1st of January, For 5 years, I was traveling with her together, both of us. And I decided, because I lost my cousin, I decided not to go to the party. My cousin lost 2 children, and I said, I'm not going to the party. And she said to me, it's fine, I understand. But should anything happen to your father, you must tell me, because they told me at the ICU my father is not recovering.
Sure.
And she said to me, immediately when you call me, I'm going to wake up and come, and then we take your father to the funeral parlor. We'll choose the funeral parlor in Emalahleni. I said, yeah. She said, we're going to do the 2 of us. I said, okay, it's fine. Then she left. She bought me gifts anyway on my birthday on the 3rd of December. A lot of gifts. Wow. I said, how are you buying me gifts this year? She said to me, I'm buying gifts so that you mustn't come to my house. I'm going to spend time with Ubabu Malachi throughout the December. I said, when we call each other, we say, if you phila njani imanzange. Oh. Yeah, ngamagama ungaphandle, you are not talking to me. Uphila njani where you are. Then when I called her, okay, they called me at the hospital. They said I must come quickly around 7. Sure. I went, and then at the ICU, they said, no, go back. Ubaba is doing well. We'll call you again. Yeah. 10 to 12, they called me again. Then they said, come to the hospital. Then I went to the bedroom. I said to my mom, I'm going to the hospital, but Mama Lachi said I must call her. Yeah. Should anything happen. Sure. And my mom says, Murungu, I'm not going with you. By the name, my name is Murungu. Yeah. I'm not going with you this time. You can go. And then I went, and when I got there, around 20 past 12, my father passed on. Sure. I was sitting alone with him in ICU. And then because it was me and my father, said, I remember this one said I must call her. Because she said, both of us will take your father to the mortuary. Cosmos does not have the fridge there. I know I'm the executive mayor. Yeah. Then when I called, it says the subscriber is not available. Sure. Then I looked at my phone and said, and you didn't fulfill that agreement. I'm talking to her. No, I'm talking to the phone. Yeah. I want Kwaela because I don't know whether it was recording or but one Kwaela. Yeah. And then I called again. Her phone was always on. Sure. Then for the second time, I said, that's not my business because that's what you said. Then I called my husband. I said, please bring Mama. Things are not going well, and that family matter. I'm not going to go into that story. Yeah. The next thing, my son arrives. Now, Mama Buza thought that my son is my husband, and she said, but she's screaming and crying. Said, where is your mama? And then my son says, now. And then I said, hello. But she's crying, screaming. I said, my father has passed away, and my father is 84 years old. Mara, they scream. What is that for? Because there's no need for her to cry so much. Sure. And then my son took it thinking that maybe we are now crying for my father and all that. And then she said, Babu Padi, Mama Lachi, ushonile. Sure. And then my son just fell down at Cosmos, started crying. My father is there. And then I went to my son, I said, what's happening? And then he didn't respond, and he cried loud. And then I just hold him with the t-shirt. I said, what is happening? Sure. And then he looked at me, scared to say, I'm shouting at him and says, Mama, let's look ahead. And then I sat down and I collapsed. The nurses came, and now they took me in for drip. And now my mother must come in. I must encourage my mother that she mustn't cry because my father has passed away. I can't tell my mom that Mama like has passed away. So it's a chaos. I'm going to casualty. They are stopping this process of my father, and they don't understand why I'm crying. These nurses anyway. And when Mama Buiza realized that, he told me, and the daughter called and said, Mama Mary, boya utlonka mama runa umise moshare ZCC itolata papa boya lwena utolata mama. That broke my heart because I could not do it.
Because you also have to.
My father is like that broke my heart. The arrangements. Yeah. So, and immediately after that, my mother got sick there. She went into ICU, and I started to realize that sitting here on this big seat. Yes. Sometimes life can humble you. It doesn't matter how strong you are. You can sit in the big seat, but God will teach you that you are not strong.
I just want us to also talk to the allegations, because you were alleged of working with Dudu's course. Now, when you were in the MK party.
Who's Dudu's party?
The Claims party.
I don't even know his name. Okay.
But you know Mswati.
I know Mswati.
Yeah. Because I want us to deal with the issues of Emalahleni and then we'll carry on with the other conversations. You were alleged of working with Ntutuzi Nkosi in Emalahleni when he's now the speaker. You are within the MK party. What sort of relationship did you enjoy at all, if there was any?
I don't know him. I just know him as a comrade because of Mama Lach.
Sure.
But I don't know him. I don't know his days. We don't talk to each other. You know, he would send me WhatsApp messages during Easter holidays and Christmas holidays. But even meeting with him, to have a meeting, I've never. I really don't know him. That's why when you mention his name, I'm asking who's Mtutuzi.
Yeah.
I don't know him. So I only know the name Mswati.
Yeah.
And when Mama Lach has passed on, during the unveiling, I was there and he was there, and we took some pictures because they know how much I used to be close to her.
Sure.
But if she was alive, I wouldn't have joined controversies.
Well, you have joined controversies, and among the many other things you've been alleged of is misusing Imali MK party. Talk us through around that period. I want to take you back to where we are now, recording this particular conversation. I'm told that the deputy president of the MK party came to this place. It was after there were complaints and concerns about how you were leading. I think it was around November of 2024, where he came here, he met up with you and obviously the consent group at the time, seemingly was led by General...
It was in August.
August, okay. It was around August, and that consent group had opened up a police case, or a case with the police, of you wanting to take down a member who you are close to now. I was surprised that I asked you those questions, but I want us to walk through again. Now the deputy president comes, he wants to, settle this thing. Why there's commotion in Mpumalanga? You are alleged of misusing funds. You are alleged of wanting to take Impiloga General Ndluli. Did you really take out a number on him?
No, I did not. That incident happened when we were at the hotel, where we will talk, maybe the two of us, and say, comrade, whoever we want to show him.
Sure.
It's more power to say, let's mobilize. For example, there were comrades that were coming here to distract me in the briefing. And politically, I changed the time. So these comrades are on their way here, and we're done. It was that. You cannot say when comrades have had a meeting to say, we'll show Mary. Because that's what I said there. We'll show Mary.
Is that what you said about him?
No. I said, I quote that, Commander Taff, that's all.
At the start of the conversation, you said the MK party was somewhat established, or you led the fort. You comrade Ndluli, because you mentioned.
One of the things that I think as human beings we need to understand, which I also think that it will be impossible for you to control that. Okay, the fact that you need to be careful on what you say. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you are talking to, but you need to be careful of what you say. Because whatever you say, some people, they might take that and use that against you. Example, it's Mr. Hlope. You remember Mr. Hlope? When he was in court, when they wanted to, we can say now, because the court have already mentioned the fact that he's not supposed to be in the JSC, and also in Cape Town he was removed and everything as a lawyer. So this tells you that whatever you say, because the only thing that made Mr. Hlope to be removed or taken to court or anything, it was just 2 words, 2 or 3 words, okay? Sesizawubona ngani konke sekukini bafowethu, okay, ukuthi nenzani lokho nje kukodwa into enkulu leyo. It can make people to take it and twist it and use it against you. It's especially in politics. They are waiting for you to make a mistake. Just like when it comes to if they want to use something against you, maybe you've got a record of where they are, even though it's not true, but anything that might be close to you in terms of corruption, in terms of maybe you have done something wrong, they will always take it and use it against you. They will twist it, of course. Even if it's not true, they will twist it. And we all know when it comes to cases in court, there are people who've been, especially overseas, people who've been in jail for a long time for nothing. Things that they haven't done. It's possible. Why? Because that's how it is. Especially in politics, guys. It's very cruel. Whatever you say, it's very important what you say. And I know that you will not be able to control it, because when you are in an event or anything, you are talking there, somebody's listening and is like, okay, records you or anything, and then boom. And I know it. When you get to court, they play a record. Yeah, you said this will mean this, that. Boom, done. Then you lose the case. Then, that's how it is. That's why I think Miss Paddy was talking about, I've always been in the propaganda thing. That means I've always been surrounded propaganda. That means people who want to do things to destroy others, people who want to paint other people with certain things, people who want to destroy other people or anything like that, so that they can get maybe positions. Anyway, that is just what I am picking when she's speaking like this. It's very important that what you say, you must be very careful.
First two comrades
Yeah.
that established informal structures in the province.
Sure.
It's me and Comrade Ted.
Yeah.
Everybody that was coming
Sure.
was coming under our layer.
Sure.
That was happening.
So how did then he abuse you, or ukhulumela kanjani?
No, because of VNs.
Okay.
Yeah, Commander Tough is the one that it says, "Guti, angina kambe yile nto le force number.
Awuna force number.
Akakwazi ukugula umfazi." It comes from that.
Sure.
So he issued that VN to say, "Ngakwazi ukugula umfazi."
Yeah.
But at the time, it was interesting because hence we went to number 2. I wanted to respond to the media briefing today, which if there is no noise,
Sure.
we won't win 2026. But I felt, if I say that,
You'll be taken out of context.
yeah, because they will think, okay, in politics, you must windmill
Sure.
everything. As windmill, whether a person is sitting at tavern, a sontweni, a lokshini, business meeting, they're discussing a name. And you need that. So for us to be disrupted by the announcement,
Sure.
it works for us. I wish this matter cannot be resolved. That's why the president is not going to come back. He said 3 weeks, and I told everyone that he's not coming back.
So you love this.
It's working for politics. It's politics.
But don't you think also it's equally killing MK party?
No,
Creating more
in fact,
divisions?
we are registering more and more numbers on a daily basis. If you look at our reports, we submit reports on Tuesdays. The region submit the reports on Tuesdays. Every week, they don't give us less than 500 membership. Yes.
Can you verify that? Because this is also another issue.
Yes, you can verify it. Green Friday, Saturday, there's tables everywhere. Hence, we've bought them gazebos. There's tables everywhere. There's go busy in Mpumalanga. Okay, if you are saying that, we went to Seme,
Yeah.
compare the program. If you have to bring the president who is currently leading the political party named the ANC,
Yeah.
bye.
Okay.
You are going to spend millions.
There are people there.
Marketing, transport. In fact, you'll end up thinking about Basel.
Okay.
This is 2025.
Yeah.
I am challenging that now to say, call anyone. Busy meeting next week. Yeah, but about 15,000. Nobody's going to come. Atolo has made everybody to wake up.
What do you mean by that also?
I mean that we must walk and work for MK, get tired. Discussing amatolo. So meaning we are saying it is not going to be possible. Our feet are going to get tired as we are working 2020. They'll be and and some people say so I'm going to $5 inyawo zokuhlola Lucas.
Yeah.
But ukusele asleli sikhathi siyaphambili.
Okay, now you and General Taff Ndluli are fine. I've seen that. I've spoken to him. I've spoken to you. I kind of get the sense that you guys, are fine. Did he formally withdraw that case with the police?
Yeah, he did. He is not the only person that has opened a case against.
How many people have opened cases against you then?
There is 3 cases. One was coming from him, and 2 was coming from comrades that I wouldn't want to mention here. And the reason for that, it is because of the security reasons for them.
Okay.
Because when the province know that, they will look at them different. So they opened the case.
Are they all members of the MK
party? They are all members of the MK party.
In the province of Mpumalanga?
In the province of Mpumalanga.
Okay.
The reason why they took me and opened the case is because they were sitting with the propaganda that in Limali. So they opened Mr. Naidu. He's the one that is supplying us with the material.
Sure.
At a very cheap rate. And I knew that supplier through MK. So I found him already printing for MK.
Sure.
And we were buying material from him.
Sure.
So they opened the case. There was a time when Hawks were looking for me. And then I received a call from the Hawks to say, this is politics, don't be shaken. We are not coming for you.
Is that what the Hawks said to you?
That's what they said. Now, I'm told these days, Hawks again lately, and I don't understand. So it's like they're creating everything.
What do you mean lately, as in now?
As in now, because they're just creating everything. There was a time where they even screenshot my profile picture and wrote there that I gave someone 10,000. So that I don't remember. I've been inside when you ask propaganda.
Sure.
I feel like in South Africa, Mpumalanga province, I'm the only woman who's been attacked the way I've been attacked in politics because I've been named and shamed everywhere. Remember the red carpet letter? Here I am working no Zulu. Go red carpet. The next thing now most out to receive a letter. I said no. And then I went and I said down legislature ngapakati.
Yeah.
I received a screenshot from one of the executive members here that says breaking news, Mary Paddy is being fired, and the letter was issued to her on the red carpet. And then now it's a letter. I'm sitting there.
Sure.
I cannot move.
The state of the province address.
It's the state of the province address. It's the legislature don't move around. My phone is buzzing. I'm not concentrating. I'm trying to understand which letter, because the letter that they sent me is the one that is trending now, that is written in February 2024. And the person that is signed that letter was not here in 2020. So now while I'm sitting there, one comrade, Busiswe Mkhwebane, send me a WhatsApp and say, see correct letter. Then I knew something is fishy. And yet, if the SG made a mistake, oh, lo SG again people. So it means the office of the SGO must wait few days before the amendment of the letter.
Yeah.
And then Musa, don't ask me how am I dealing with that matter, because I'm dealing with it.
Are you?
Yes.
But before we get to Floyd, because obviously you have a thing with Floyd and Busiswe Mkhwebane, I want us to go back to August of 2024.
Yeah.
Remember I said the deputy president was here. He was here to deal with that issue of you allegedly wanting to kill General Ndluli.
No, he was not here for that.
He was not?
No. There is evidence to it. I invited him.
You invited him?
Yes.
So, but then, if you can't...
I invited the National Interim Committee, all of them, the NIC, because it was the first time
Sure.
as Umkhonto weSizwe to be at the legislature. Remember, it was also a state of the nation address that time.
Yeah.
And for me, because you cannot call the president, they come to the legislature. And then I said, if the deputy president is here, he will be proud. And indeed, he was proud, because my speech then, he sent me a message to say, wow, if you have to ask me, this is the best speech I've ever had in Mpumalanga, or from members of Umkhonto weSizwe, because we are new.
Sure.
I'm not saying my speech is better than that. Yeah. So he was not the only person that was invited.
Okay.
There were many, Sihle, Ngubani, Masego, I'm just mentioning names, but they are comrades, obviously. Mklamulo, the Menzi, you know, I forgot this guy, but
So who did the deputy president come with?
he came with a talent Big Beggar,
Okay.
and his son.
He's the deputy president's son?
Yes, the three of them. So they came and others could not come.
Sure.
They sent an apology. Remember also that time, there was already propaganda against me. So they were following propaganda.
The propaganda was the allegations of misusing of funds and the assassination.
There was already that turmoil.
Yeah.
So I think some of them,
Sure.
I'm not saying they did not come because of, but it was the office of the party leader
Sure.
that invited them to say, come and see the work that has been done. Yeah.
If you're comfortable, let's talk about the sexual advances.
Mm-hmm.
So you said to us now that he sent you messages congratulating you of the best speech.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've noted through the media, you said these sexual advances were also made through the phone.
Yeah.
So when you guys interacted like this, there was no sexual advances, it was just professional.
Look, we were with people.
Yeah.
We had a meeting with the executive, and then after that we had dinner.
Sure. Now everyone is there.
Everyone is there.
Yeah.
And then from there he left. And that's when he started writing those messages.
Starting with one, which with congratulating you on the speech.
No. The congratulations was the next day, legislature.
Oh. So the sexual advances happened before.
Because I could not read.
Yeah.
One of the messages was saying that I must come and spend. And my response was that I'm not going to come because you are in an interlink room. When you go up, you know that penthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the penthouse. Yeah.
And then, in fact, you were checking with me when I was still downstairs and you were doing, and then I was responding. And then he later deleted the message and I had already taken a screenshot.
Okay, so he says to you, do you mind coming up, And you said no.
Yeah.
And then from that point,
tension started.
Was there any other advance that he did or said?
No, it was just a statement of saying, uzobona. It was just that statement. So I quickly picked it up because masifike legislature akasahambi nami sakahamba nabothafu yabona nje mina I'm not there.
But he congratulated you on the speech.
He didn't have a choice to do so because I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So I feel what he was pressed. He's the deputy president. He had to congratulate me. Yeah, ngasishaya leso speech asikhumbula. Lese ukuthi I had a dream ngathi premier wazothi une dream la.
His office, that's the deputy president, John Shop. His office, they wrote to you, I think, because I've seen the letter. It was addressed to you. It said you must produce evidence. Failure to do so, they will take you up legally.
Uphi man.
But you didn't produce evidence.
Manje uphi angayithathi legally ngoba yikho leyo nto azoyenza. I wouldn't say something that is not there.
Okay.
Like on a serious note, if manje I had to walk in with him to court, what will I produce?
Subsequently, you received the letter that suspended you following all of that. So you...
No, he did not suspend me. Yes. He said I must give reasons why they should not
suspend you.
Yeah, withdraw me from the legislature.
Then what prompted you to go to court then in that year of 2024? Because in December of the 3rd, 2024, the court exonerated you at least. So what prompted you going to court? What were you fighting?
I fought for the fact that I received a letter that says, give us a reason why we should not withdraw you. And I responded by saying that I'm appealing to the National High Command that they must give me an assistance should they see any wrong that I'm doing. But currently I'm following all the legal rules or the legal policies or the legislature requirements. So there's nothing that I feel that I'm doing wrong, but I'm asking them to assist me. I responded within 7 days. And
you resigned?
Yes, I did. I did resign.
But how come you're here then?
Listen, I resigned, and then at the legislature, when you have to submit documentation, you submit through the office of the coordinator.
Sure.
I resigned with immediate effect. The office of the coordinator called an executive committee meeting, and I was not there. They rejected my resignation. I took that letter that they rejected my resignation. I submitted in the office of Comrade John Tlela, who sent me an email to say I must resign. I'm not wrong. And then I received a letter, the third letter, that is now saying that your membership has been terminated. Now, guess what? From top, the letter says inquiries, Sfiso, who's the former SG? Yeah. And then, and then when you go down with the letter, it's dated October 10. The same date when the executive responded. Then I checked. I said, okay. Now, President Zuma signed the letter on the 10th. When they've given me 3 days to submit, and I've responded within 3 days, it doesn't add up. And then when you go down with the letter, it says that because you've misused funds and you've made MK to, you've put MK into dispute and whatever, you know. And then I said, MK does not have a bank account.
So that was part of your response.
I check. I don't take the letter.
Yeah.
Oh no, inquiries was saying Floyd Chibam.
October. Was he already appointed?
Aye, he was not. Lapet Green signature president. And then in that midst, while I'm still understanding the letter on the 17th, on the 19th, Floyd write a letter to the legislature that my membership has been terminated and I must be removed. Legislature then writes me a letter to say you've been released as a member of the legislature. And then I said, Kanti, e-constitution, there's processes that must be followed if a member is done wrong.
Sure.
But now there's no processes. I mean, I did everything that they said I must do.
Then you challenged them in court.
I say fair. Remember, I'm business administration and understand the processes. By the way, I've got a degree in human resources, so I know how to treat employees. And then I said, okay, it's fine. Let me give MK an opportunity to bring evidence. And they can only bring that evidence in court. Because I cannot be assisted. Now, if you read the Constitution, it says the member will only go to court if that member has exhausted all the processes.
Internal processes.
Now, I've exhausted all the internal processes because everything that they said I must do. And now, they are not taking me to the internal process, then I'm fired. Then let the court decide, is this a constitution that we'll be living with as Umkhonto? Or is this a constitution of a person? Then I'm going to challenge the president.
So you were challenging Zuma in court?
Yeah, that's his signature. The first court documents are saying President Jacob Zuma. Because I wanted him to come and explain to me. And I knew he did not sign that letter.
So someone has falsified his signature there.
I knew that everything that they are doing, even if they've given him that letter at night, they've given him that letter because they knew very well that he's not going to sign that letter. They've given him in the dark. Not Zuma.
But also post-court then, because the court ruled that you ought not to be removed from the party, you ought also not to be removed from the legislature or the position you were in the legislature. Why did you find a need then, when you were addressing the members of the media outside court, you said you were not deliberately attacking President Zuma, but you were challenging processes, because that's what you said?
Yeah. When I was holding a meeting here with him, that's what I told him. I took that paper. I brought a file of sequence from my birth in MK to date.
Sure.
We're sitting, I was scrolling it like this.
Yeah.
Then, but I took out that letter, said, tell me, did you sign this letter?
What did he say?
He said, I don't know.
Wow. What sort of relationship do you enjoy with him? Because also there's been allegations that you've been traveling a lot to KZN and going to Nkandla specifically. How many times have you seen him since you've been the leader of the MK party?
No, very few. I don't know whether maybe my background is a secretary position.
Yeah.
I was the secretary for the CEOs in Sasol, and the protocol is something else there.
Sure.
So I believe in going through someone for me to get hold of him.
Sure.
But the relationship that I have with President Jacob Zuma comes when we took to the street in Pretoria. I felt they are overwhelming him with the signing of IPPs or renewable energy. and we challenged that. And that time he was a president.
Sure.
And I remember we sent a message to him to say, Baba Silwa Namapun. And my warrant of arrest was issued because we might.
I see.
So then the relationship started then.
Yeah.
But the person that I have a close relationship with is Mamko Sazan.
I was coming there because you are also alleged that you are put into MK party because she lobbied for you. Many are saying, yeah, your parallel relationship that you have with her, subsequently being the leader of the MK party now in Mpumalanga, is as a result of her endorsing you to the president. Was that the case?
It's not true. Mamko Sazan is not involved in Umkhonto weSizwe at all. In fact, I had to make an appointment to tell her that I took a decision like this one. And he had to make a presentation about the ANC, where does the ANC come from. And both of us, we said, let's see where it ends.
Sure.
And make no mistake, when I'm in pain, in MK, I call her.
So what did she say?
I'm calling her because after Mamalaji, I got close to her.
Okay.
And she's the person I feel Guti, she has groomed me with Mam Sindiswa Chikunga.
Yeah.
The Minister of Transport.
Sure.
I traveled with that woman all over,
Sure.
the freight industry.
Sure.
And they took me, I was very young,
Sure.
when I joined SANWIT, a South African Network for Women in Transport,
Sure.
under the leadership of Chikunga. Mam Chikunga
Yeah.
carried me. So it was Mam Chikunga, it was Mam Kosazan. When there's pain, I call them.
You still talk to them even now?
Yes, I do. I don't call when I'm not crying, though.
So you do cry? So when last did you cry?
The last time I cried, it was when I was not given an opportunity to meet President Jacob Zuma. When I requested a meeting to meet with him, I drove from here and I went to KZN. And I did not know that I've booked in the same hotel where he was. He does not know that story until today. I knew that he's just a floor up.
So who denied you the access?
I was just told I cannot see him. And I stayed there for 3 days with Commander Nabo. That I did not know whether he doesn't want to see me.
Sure.
Or is these people really blocking me from seeing him?
Sure.
And then I later understood when Comrade Kanyele spoke about it. To say, Nias Valela, I said, oh.
You're not the only one.
But I'm not the only one, but by that time, it's in Khalil.
But you went to a past, I'm told, in KZN around the same time.
When?
You were in a, I'm told that it was around the same time when you were in KZN. And
No, it was not that time.
It was not that time.
It was not that time. I went to him to try and explain the situation.
Yeah.
And I could not get through.
Sure.
And I came back and then I was fired.
Sure.
Then I went to KZN. Then I stayed 7 days with the legal team for them to analyze my court papers.
What's the where does the animosity come from with yourself, the SG, and Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane? Because you address them vaguely, as abantwana in the MK party. I've seen video Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, Haumazi ujoyine kuphi eMpumalanga noma eGoli. She's just a normal, a normal member. You address the SG, uthi, whether he goes back to the EFF, you don't care, or wherever he's from, Floyd. Let's talk about it. Where does that come from?
When you present yourself to the people, you don't present yourself by taking from somebody's. I don't know Comrade Floyd. I don't know him. But all that I can tell you, Guti, I supported EFF because within my executive, despite the fact that I was pro ANC, there were members within the freight industry who were EFF. Now, when they went to Megawatt Park to strike against Andre Director, we gave a budget of 1.2 million to truckers to go and support EFF.
1.2 million to the EFF?
Yeah, no, to truckers, as truckers, so that trucks can be able to go there and assist the EFF. Because at that time, either or, but I was ANC, and they knew I was ANC.
Sure.
So when he came, I was so excited.
Came to the MK party?
Poti, I was excited. I was like, at least for a change, we are going to get a person who will deal with administration, and then us understand it, and then us seize it, and then us encourage it, and teach us politics. You know,
Yeah.
He came to Witbank for a meeting, first meeting.
Sure.
And apparently they were coming to remove me on that in October. He came, he walked in a room, and then we were eating. And then we said, oh, hi, how are you? We stood up. And then he said, hi, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Let's go.
Go where now?
To the hall, inside the hall. We're in a briefing room.
Sure.
Says, let's go to the hall. I'm like, we've organized this meeting. We are the leaders. Even if he's here to, the gossips are saying he's here to remove us. That's
the first encounter you ever
yes.
had with him.
Sanbonani, you know, something like that. We've worked for this organization. Yabona, ngabona umuntu one pride. You know, when I go and visit, ngiba ne problem ukuthi they always say you cannot be like President Jacob Zuma in this province. Ungathanda abantu, ngiyahlala nabantu. Yabona manje I'm going to make sure ukuthi everybody that is here down there is right.
Sure.
Ngifila ukuthi he walked in there, washange attitude, I'm a woman. I'm the leader. Ngafila ukuthi lo muntu la kana ne decency ukuthi angishake isandla okay akafuna ukungishake isandla ngimazi but ahlale phansi athi noma community siyabonga ukuthi organize le meeting we are not. Guess what, when he walked out, comrade then Hlapo stood up and they looked at each other like this and then says, not here in this province. You are not going to do this attitude in this province. I'm looking at him and said, Aibo. I kept saying Aibo. And I had to do a presentation.
Sure.
But we only have 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes here. And I'm sure you
Wait
when
1 minute. They came, they have 5 minutes to spend here.
they came,
Yeah.
they said Sanbonani, and then we stood up, and then he said, let's go to the hall. Why are we here?
Oh, I see.
And then stopped him. Comrade then stopped him. And when Comrade then stopped him, I felt Guti, he embarrassed me to my male component or counterparts or the people that I work with.
Sure.
I felt Guti, this is not how Zuma will do things, even if Zuma was coming to remove me. Ubezongibingelela naqeda athi hayi ntokazi isikhathi sihambile asingene ngale kodwa ke uma siphuma ngizobe sengiyakutshela or something like that. What, no, I'm here for the constitution, I'm not here for anything. Bingelela abantu ke, even if you're here for the constitution. So I was shocked, and because I'm the leader of the province, I had to do a presentation, briefing, summarize it to satisfy the house, but it was not me. And I did. When he went to the hall, there were people saying, Hamba, Mary, Hamba. And others were saying, Shala, Mary, Shala. It was like a conference. Somebody walked out and said, this feels like a conference. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was politics.
Love family.
It's politics. Why am I here? You know, and Hamba, Mary. Mary. I'm like, wow, you're resonating with me.
Yeah.
One thing that I've learned was when you have an opportunity to be known, don't miss that opportunity. When you have an opportunity to go to the podium, don't miss that opportunity. TD Jakes wrote a book, Don't Drop the Mic.
Don't drop the mic.
And that has made me not to have fear. Whether I can walk into the area where they boo me or whether they say go, for the mere fact that as a leader, I climbed the steps and I stood there and then they said, who? It means I'm somebody. Don't drop the mic.
I see where your feud come from with Floyd, the SG, Floyd Shivambo. With Advocate versus Mkhwebane, I don't understand. You congratulated her when she was announced. There seems to be tension amongst you, though.
Advocate versus Mkhwebane was expecting her to be a leader. I'm not saying she's not a leader, but I was expecting better from her. Remember, we even though we did not know each other much, but we've met. She came to my 50th birthday with Mam. Okay, Mam Kosazana was coming away, but I also invited. She showed up. Yolinda Spias. I know a lot of people, you know, from NC. So she was also there. Mam Kosazana was there. And I was sitting with Mam Kosazan at my house, preparing to go to the hall.
Sure.
And she arrived.
At your house?
At my house, and I decided to travel with her to the venue. So
this is way before she was in the MK part.
Yeah. So we went to the hall, and I traveled with her, and we took some pictures. And later on, she did a program of Black excellence. She then spoke about the importance of those qualified Black business people who are in South Africa. And that's when I met Advocate Iskakane. We're with Kalni House,
Sure.
Advocate Talimpofu. There were giants there, and I was part of the panel. Brian Mulife, I was part of the panel. And when I was there in that panel, don't drop the mic. I felt with a man amongst the giants. So I feel that she could have, when she joined MK, when I got the news, I congratulated. When she was announced, I congratulated. What is making her not to come and just call a meeting behind my back and she starts? How come? She hasn't been to the office. She hasn't received a report. I didn't do the handover. Why should you come and just fight? What kind of a woman is that one? She doesn't deserve any respect. In fact, I started looking at some videos where the employees were testifying against her about her attitude as a public protector.
Sure.
Then I said, nale attitude, enikhona namanje kukhulunywa yona vele. My comrade, aphila impilo ukuthi uyadelela, like njani. So I feel ukuthi she could have done better. And I'm really disappointed in her. And for that reason, I told the president that I'm not going to work with her. And she is going to leave, by the way, as a convener. She's not going to stay in this province.
So you're the only person who's going to remain behind?
Yes. I am the convener of this province. She's not going to stay long. She's helping us to make more numbers. She is embarrassing us to the fact that she went to a program. 15 people attended, 15 comrades, and she's addressing them. Hey, she is just somebody that is messing up. Really? Something is not right there.
As our parting short point.
So that's why both of them are making the people that I can call them leaders. And therefore, I will call a person a leader that is presenting herself as a leader towards other people. I believe, Guti, we need to shift this thing of comradeship. Uyotelela umunye comrade because une power, uthatha isitulo,
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Now I understand her character. Now I understand who she is in terms of dealing with things, okay? Now, the reason why I'm saying that it's because when I made a video about her, why don't she just let go, you know? Why don't you just let go of the court case, blah, blah, blah? I was speaking from not knowing her, okay? Now I understand why she acted the way she acted. She seems and looks and sounds like she's a strong woman, and she sounds like she's those type of women who just don't let go of things, okay? That means when she fights something, it seems like she fights until the end. And it seems like if you are going to give her attitude, she's going to give it back to you, okay? And in other words, she's one of those that say, when I come to you or when I approach you or when we have an interaction, okay, if you are giving me positive energy, I will give you positive energy. And if you give me negative energy, I will give you negative energy. And as she mentioned, and it makes sense actually, when she says, I'm a strict person, I think I understand that. And she looks and she looks strict, you know, even when she speaks, she looks strict. And her stories, you can tell that whatever she went through, you can tell that, yeah, no, she's one of those women who are strong women. She reminds me of a lady in church who I go to in church actually. She looks like her, and you can tell that there is that strongness that she has, you know. And you can tell that the stories in the political space, it was, and guys, you must understand also, I think that Miss Paddy was in a professional, she was a career woman. That means she was doing certain things in the business space and doing all of this, because I did some research when it comes to what she did before. I think she was in government and doing certain things there, blah, blah, blah. So you can tell that that actually comes from there. You know, she's a strong, guys, listen. You know, it's very important that when you look at people online and you see their videos, you see them somewhere, you see them on TV and whatever, their stories and everything on TV, maybe there's a political drama that is happening. Don't just judge them by looking at them from those spaces, from those TVs. When there is a podcast where she goes and express themselves, go and listen, because you might change your mind when it comes to certain things, and you might actually understand their actions. All right, now when you listen to her speaking about the story between, okay, speaking about the conflict between her and Miss Mkwebane, you know, now if the story is true, then you can see that, you know what, it was two bulls in one kraal. Is it a kraal or what? Whatever it is, okay? You can tell that there were two bulls, just like Trump and Mr. Elon Musk. It's two bulls in one space. There will never be a good thing that comes out of that. That's why now you see what is happening. Even with Miss Paddy and Miss Mkwebane, when they were in one space, the other one comes in after leaving the EFF, comes in into the MK party. The other one is a convener in Pumalanga. That one that comes in then is put to be a convener. This one is not happy. Obviously, guys, you cannot expect a person to be happy when somebody comes and take their position. It's not about positions, but every person that experiences that will not be happy. Okay? I'm happy that she told the story. I am hoping that Miss Mkwebane will also come on the same podcast, I guess, because I can see that the podcast sort of like it was in an MK space. So I hope that Miss Mkwebane will come and say her story. Obviously, when she comes, she might say something different, but it's good sometimes when you have both sides, and then you can hear and then you can have your conclusion when it comes to what? To their story. Okay, and you can tell that the lady, actually Miss Paddy, she's very strict. She's very strong in her position when it comes to being a convener in Mpumalanga. She says she's not going anywhere. She says she's the one who is a convener, not her. And you can tell that there was a fight between the two. When it comes to Mr. Shivambo, hey guys, I still believe that somewhere, somehow, somewhere, Mr. Shivambo is going to end up going back to the EFF. I don't want to lie to you, especially after listening to Miss Paddy. The way things went and everything, and the way Miss Paddy was interacting with Mr. Zuma, and then it's Floyd Shivambo, and it was just I think, I don't know, guys, I don't want to conclude because all of them, they might have their own stories. And when they say all of them their stories, then you can conclude. But at the end of the day, that's what happens when you are in one organization. That's what happens when you are in one organization, when you are doing the same things in one organization, and maybe it's about the public, and maybe, that's what happens, okay? And I don't think that now, if anyone leaves the party, maybe, for example, Shivambo leaves the MK party, goes back to EFF, or Mr. Mkwewane leaves the MK party and does anything else except politics, then we will know who won, right? Because if you are in a space and there is a fight between amongst you guys, the one who's going to be left, I'm just saying, the one who's going to remain in that position, in that space of that party or in that party, is the winner. I'm not saying it's a competition, but hey, how can we call it? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for by the way, if I see that only 3 to 4 people came in and went out, so if you watch this video or this live after the live, I welcome you, and also you can subscribe, you can like the video. That will be appreciated. Okay, have a fantastic day. This is my no, it's not my first stream. I think I did try before, but this one, I think, with the network, guys, I suffer and I struggle with network. That's why it's very difficult for me to actually stream, and I want to stream more because that is important, but sometimes it's difficult. I guess I must find a position where maybe it will catch the network, even if when I'm moving around, because the South African network, the only problem with it is if you touch anything around your screen and then it moves around, the network gets affected, and then there is those clinching. And anyway, thank you guys for watching. You have a fantastic day. What else can I tell you guys? Anyway, there's nothing. Have a good day, guys. I am out.